My father and I recently reconnected, and he came and watched a live taping, and oh shit. I think you want your daddy to be proud of you, man. Like more than anything.
I'm very, very blessed to be able to call my dad one of my best friends, and he's my freaking hero, man.
The issue with a lot of men is they're not having these types of vulnerable conversations with each other because they're on guard or they think it's weak. Like, dude, almost breaking down in front of one of your homies is the strongest thing you can do.
Yeah, 100%.
And I really think that it is 1,000,000,000% necessary.
I don't think it's supposed to be that way. I find that at the core, they want the same things I want. They want to be loved, and they want to love other people. Let's talk. Let's be real. Do you need to cry? Do you need a hug, or do you need a kick in the ass? I think we need more of it, and men are starving for it.
5 minutes into this conversation, some bitch is already making me cry. What's up, everyone? Got a great one for you today. Before I introduce my good friend that is here today to give so much value and have an amazing conversation, I want to remind you guys to please go to the determinedsociety.com, sign up for our newsletter, get all the updates, behind the scenes, access from a lot of content that no one sees. So check it out. Go sign up for that newsletter. But today, guys, I have a repeat offender. It's funny. David Waldy is here, and this man has become such a close friend. It's probably like one of those close friends that we don't talk all the time, but when we do, it's usually tears, and it's usually just full of value and support. And this is the second time he's been on my show, but I feel like I've known this guy for probably 15 years. I think we've known each other for what, maybe 3, maybe almost 4 years.
Yeah.
And today's the first time we've met in person, and it doesn't feel like that. And so we're going to have an amazing conversation. He even brought his little remarkable thing from notes that he took 3 years ago when we had our first conversation, and we're going to air all that out. And you guys need to stop whatever you're doing right now and pay very close attention, because not only is he a great human being, he's a wonderful husband, a wonderful dad, a child of God, and a really good friend. And you guys are going to benefit from this episode. So stop what you're doing, get your pen and pad out, and welcome David Waldy to the show.
Sean, man, I've been excited for the conversation, dude.
Dude, I can't believe it's actually here, dude. When you told me, like, hey, I'm going to be in Florida.
Yeah.
Can we run this back? I'm like, yeah, dude, like 1,000%. Like, say less, dude. Get over here.
Yeah.
So when'd you get in town?
So drove down actually yesterday from South Carolina. So live just outside Columbia. And my dad actually flew up, and I had a conversation with him. He was going to drive up and drive back. I said, Dad, why don't you just fly here? I'm going to drive back with you. Get 9 hours in the car together.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
So yesterday was incredible. We got 9 hours, and we just were talking life, and it's beautiful, especially now as an adult, to have that time. I actually took a video because I was like, man, as a kid, like what you want to do is just have time with your dad. So I took a video of my face, and I turned it over to see him drive, and I was like, road trip with Dad.
Oh, that's so cool, man. It's so cool. And like, I know your background with him too. And so that, you mentioned over the last year, he's become your best friend, man.
He has. We've been through a lot. He's gone through so much pain, and he's my hero. Yeah, he was not a perfect dad, and a lot of difficult things growing up, but just to be able to, one of the conversations we were having is that we all grow up with these stories of what we believe about why things happened and who's at fault. We go through really difficult, sometimes very traumatic things, but we attach a story to it. We attach meaning to it. And what's been really interesting is to see all the meaning that I had attached to a story that I only had my perspective from. And so over the last year, we've been able to have these conversations, and he was sharing things with me that were going on that as a young man, I had no idea, that completely changed the story. It changed the meaning. It changed how I saw him. It changed how I saw what happened between him and my mom and life. And so, yeah, I'm very, very blessed to be able to call my dad one of my best friends, and he's my freaking hero, man.
It's amazing. I was telling you off air that my father and I recently reconnected, and he came and watched a live taping in January, and oh shit. I think young men
Mhm.
Boys, we want to make our parents proud,
Yeah.
but you want your daddy to be proud of you, man, like
Yeah.
more than anything. And he's told me he's proud of me before when it was tied to performance.
Right.
But that day on January 23rd, when he looked at me and he was in tears, he goes, "I'm so proud of you."
Yeah.
That's the first time that I believed it.
Wow.
And I just looked at him and said, "That's all I've ever wanted."
Yeah.
And so like that is such a cool thing, because we, the one thing that we, 5 minutes into this conversation, some bitch is already making me cry. We look at relationships in our life, and we like to say like, I'm never going to reconcile that, because that's how I felt in the situation. But, as you dig deeper and you have conversations and you reconcile and you hear their perspective, it changes things. It's like, I almost go like, man, I just wish I was more mature years ago to ask these questions the right way, to figure out what really happened, so I can have both perspectives. So we are never in this mess to begin with. But, life is beautiful. And, we got to reconnect with our dads. And man, I'd still like to talk to him more, but and see him more. So I think it's really up to me to do that. But, I don't have any more. I don't have any more of that creator sized chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to prove anything to him anymore. And I feel like inadvertently I already did, because I wasn't trying to.
Yeah.
And he got to see firsthand what was going on, and it meant everything to me, man. It really lightened my load a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, to say the least, dude. Like, I don't have that heaviness anymore.
I love that you're talking about this, because that's one of the things that I see for, I know there's a lot of different backgrounds of people that listen to this show. But I like to believe that there's this part in every single person that wants to acknowledge or recognize, or to some degree have a relationship with God. But that means different things to different people. But I've always found it really interesting is that he is personified as the father, right? This fatherly figure. And I think when we look at our lives, most of what we're doing, especially as men and growing up, and I think you and I would both agree that the models we had maybe weren't the best, but we still learned. And there's a lot of bad things that good came out of eventually. That when I think about most of the problems that I have dealt with in life, it's because of a misalignment of identity. I didn't know who I was as a son of the Father. And so I'm constantly, when we operate in that place, we're constantly trying to prove, or we're trying to hide.
Yeah.
One of those two things. When you can come to a place where you feel like, I've got nothing to prove, I've got nothing to hide, and I am fully accepted and loved for who I am. It doesn't mean there's not things that have to change. It doesn't mean that we don't have stuff we've got to work on. But I had a pastor one time tell me, he said, "What would your life look like if you knew that there was nothing that you could do that would make God love you more, and there was nothing you could do that would make him love you less?" And that changed everything for me. It didn't mean that I didn't still have funk I needed to get out of my life that was misaligned, but what would it look like to operate from this place of, I have a father who's proud of me and loves me and wants the best for me. And his fathering, his parenting is helping to discipline me in a good way to help me to become more of who he created me to be. So I can realize the potential that's on my life, something we've talked about many times. But I think the hard part for most of us is that we superimpose onto God this fatherhood idea based on our dad and based on the dads or the uncles and the men in our lives. And I know you and I have talked about this. I had many men that were fatherhood figures in my life that they hurt me. They hurt me so much. And that's where we get into this place of trying to prove and perform and feeling like we're not good enough and we're not acceptable. And I'm just grateful that I'm starting to see in my life where that stuff is dying off. And I'm coming to this place where I'm like, I don't have all the time in the world. I'm not guaranteed to wake up tomorrow. So I'm going to focus on loving and serving and doing the things that are within my control. I'm going to leave the rest up to him. I'm going to trust and believe that he does have a plan, even though I don't see it or understand it. If I can be faithful to steward my life well today, that good is going to come out of that. So
that's beautiful, man. Very well said, dude. I mean, like, you don't miss, and it's a beautiful conversation because I learned so much more about myself
Mm.
when I'm having deep conversations with you, because let's face it, I think the issue with a lot of men
Mm.
is they're not having these types of vulnerable conversations with each other
yeah,
because they're on guard or they think it's weak. Like, dude, almost breaking down in front of one of your homies is the strongest thing you can do.
100%,
And,
man.
and I really think that it is 1,000,000,000% necessary.
Yeah.
Because, like, how can people understand you? How could you understand yourself? How can you not grow? How can you grow a friendship if you don't have those moments?
Yeah.
And I think it's the one of the things is, like, as you're talking, I'm learning so much more about you as well.
Mm.
Right. And it's like, that's how we start to understand people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's how
Mhm.
you learn how to communicate with people.
Yeah.
And support one another. So,
But I love that you said that though, Sean, because the problem, one of the main issues of the world that we live in today is that we draw all of these judgments and conclusions based on one snippet of a person's ideology, whether it's
Mhm.
politically or how things need to be run economically or in business or marriage or religion. And they say one snippet of one thing on social media, and we just throw the baby out with the bathwater. We completely write them off.
Mhm.
And I don't think it's supposed to be that way. I think that it's supposed to be, hey, let's go beyond these surface level like ideologies and really get to know the person. And the more that I do that, the more that I try and have conversation with people that on the surface that I don't necessarily agree with a
Mhm.
lot of things, I find that at the core, they want the same things I want. They want to be loved
Yeah.
and they want to love other people and they want to help. They want to do good in this world. And I think the mistake that we make is that, especially as guys, you know how it is. A lot of our love language is sarcasm and giving each
Mhm.
other crap
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's just a natural thing that,
Sure.
but we have to create those environments where it's like, dude, here's what I'm navigating.
Mhm.
Here's what I'm dealing with. And I think the hard part about that is finding those type of men that are willing to have the courage to do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of men think it's strength to be stoic and non-emotive and to not dive into those things. And is like, oh, I got to try really hard. And I think it takes more strength actually. And why men are scared of it is because it requires a degree of strength to say, I'm going to get down in the pit with you for a minute.
Mhm.
We're not going to stay here,
Yeah.
but let's talk. Let's
Yeah.
be real. Do you need a shoulder right now? Do you need to cry? Do you need a hug or do you need a kick in the ass? Do you
Yeah.
need what do you need from me right now that I can love you well? And for me, we've talked about this before. I feel like Jesus was that model that I'm looking at, that no matter who he interacted with, they felt safe, they
Yeah.
felt seen, they felt loved and understood. And I think we need more of it, and men are starving for it.
Hey guys, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to slide into our recovery segment brought to you by Therabody. What an amazing technology that Therabody has. And it was founded on a really cool story by Dr. Jason Wersland. It was founded on pain. He got into an accident and had this extreme pain in his arm and found that percussive therapy really helped. So he created the very first version of the Theragun with a Makita drill just to pilot and test to see if his pain could be relieved by percussive therapy overall. And surely it was. So now birth to the Theragun and now Therabody, who has a multitude of products to help you recover emotionally and physically. And some of the products even help with stress, meditation, and better sleep, and just overall better wellness. And when I had Dr. J on the show earlier in 2025, it really spoke to me because his platform was founded out of physical pain, and the Determined Society was founded out of emotional pain. And so it felt natural for us to partner up. So here we are, an official partnership with Therabody. And I want to talk to you about some of the products today that I've been enjoying that I think you need to understand and know more about so you could potentially implement them into your life. And I'm not going to get into a big deep dive of the actual science and everything like that. I'm just going to give you some anecdotal information based on the products that I'm using and that my wife is actually using too, that is helping us out a great deal at home. Because the great thing about these products, guys, is you can use them anywhere. You can use them in the gym. You can use them at home, in your bed, in your living room. Hell, you can even drive with the Theragun Pro Plus in your car and use it on your quads, use it on your arms, whatever that is. The first thing I want to talk about is the Theragun Pro Plus. I bring that in my gym bag every day to the gym. And when I'm warming up, I use it to warm up. I put it on my arms, whatever body part I'm using that day, I activate those muscles. And what I find is I'm able to move my body a lot quicker. And I'm a lot stronger on those days that I do actually bring it and utilize it. I just think it's a great way to understand your body and the connection between your strength and your muscles and being warm and being able to perform. Because it's one thing to go work out, but it's another thing to perform while you're doing it. And the Theragun Pro Plus helps me do that. Another thing that I really, truly enjoy is the Jet Boots Pro Plus. These things are wire-free. There's no hassle. There's no cords. There's infrared LED light. There's that compression therapy. And I've been having bad pains in my ankles, both of them actually, for about a year. And I don't understand where it's coming from. But when I started using the boots religiously after a leg day or after a cardio session, I throw those boots on and I find myself a lot looser afterwards. I find myself lighter. And then the next day, there's no pain in my lower extremity, like my feet. The other thing that I really enjoy is that product really helps me recover a lot quicker. And let's face it, that's the most important thing when we're trying to move our bodies or we're trying to succeed in life is we want quick recovery emotionally and physically. And these products help me do that. And they can help you do that as well. One of the other things that I really want to go into, because it's helping my wife out a ton with headaches and being able to distract from the noise in her mind. And honestly, it helps me with that too, is the smart goggles. Whenever we feel a slight headache coming on or things are getting really heavy just in our minds, just thinking about all the stressors, all the things out there that we can't control, we throw the goggles on, get in a quiet place, and there's different cycles on there and different intensities of vibrations and massaging that you can either turn it up or turn it down. And what I really enjoy is it allows me to focus on what's going on with just me. And I think about things, and the massaging with the smart goggles relieves either headaches and it relaxes me and relaxes my wife to a point where we can fall asleep better. We are preparing to kind of downshift and shut down and slow down for the evening. So I heavily recommend them. The other thing it's really good for is just creating a peaceful time in your day. And what I found since using the smart goggles and then the other products is it works for me, it works for my family, and I know it can work for you too. So I want you guys to think about things that you are struggling with. If it's lower back pain or you wake up in the morning, your neck is tight, I'm going to tell you the Theragun Pro Plus will help that out. They have cold therapy on it, hot therapy. I mean, think about that. When I opened that box and realized that I could have heat therapy and cold therapy and a Theragun, changed everything for me. And also really made the thing that I hate doing the most is warm up. Made that very easy for me just by applying it to the muscle group that I'm going to use before I do it and in between sets, which promotes quicker recovery between sets. So if you're looking to go high volume or to lift heavy weights, I strongly consider that. All these products are there to help you move along in your day with less pain and recover quicker. So go check it out, because now, like I said, the official partnership has begun. And from now until the end of March, in your first order, you get 15% off your first order, not every order. So if you're going to buy some stuff, load up there in that cart for that first time and you get 15% off. Go to therabody.com, and at checkout, the code is determined. So let me know how you guys like it. Until then, stay determined. I think it's the strongest thing to do to be able to get down there in the pit with one of your dudes.
Yeah.
Right. I'll also say, like, when it comes to having those conversations, you know, a kick in the butt, a hug, cry, like, bro, we've done all of that.
Yeah.
And and it's the first time I've met you in person and finally got to physically hug you.
That was a good hug.
It was a dude.
You never had a
great.
French hug.
Wow. That was a hug. It was a little bit questionable. If you guys, if people were just watching in the parking lot, like, what's going on here? It's like, well, don't worry about us. But like, the thing is like, but you've kicked me in my ass. Mm-hmm. You did. I was driving on the alley. And dude, and quite frankly, I think I've told you this, it pissed me off. I'm like, what do you mean? You're sensing some, like I'm not at peace. Like I'm just stressed. Right. But it's like, when I look back at that moment, like then I couldn't see it. Now I'm like, oh yeah, I could see what he picked up on. I don't feel that way now. It's a lot of, it's been released, but I think what I really appreciated about that moment, not in the moment, but like looking back at it and something like his intentions were to love me, to be my real friend. And I look back at everything that was going on then. Yeah. Everything was so new in terms of having a publicist, having this, having that, and having all this swirl around me and being like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't know how to operate right now. Like, all I know is like, I'm constantly in fight or flight during that moment. That's what it really was, is like, I'm constantly having to react to something. And a lot of the things that I was reacting to or addressing, I was allowing it. Yeah. And so since then I've made some changes, right. And brought some more support, with Dan and letting certain people go that were giving me that anxietized moment, and also playing on the program like, you're not good enough. And it just made me realize, like, I'm busy, but am I being efficient right now? Am I happy at this moment? Yeah. And what it allowed me to do was kind of just unravel it. Yeah. Like, okay, what's bothering me? Okay, cool. Yeah. Is it real? Is it true? Or is it just something that I'm making up? Is it my perspective? And why is my perspective like that? But like, also, what can I remove that is going to give me more peace? And I did, and I feel much better.
I think you just said something that I think I want everyone to grab a hold of, is that most often the things that we want more in our lives are not an addition problem to solve. They're a subtraction problem. Yeah. It's not about, we were talking about David Goggins earlier, and you take the Hormozis and the Bartletts and the Tony Robbins and these incredibly successful men, and you have different philosophies on. They say, well, this is the pathway to success. You got to do this. You got to wake up at 3 a.m. and the cold plunge and this. And I'm not saying those things aren't useful, right? But we fail to recognize that every single person that we're oftentimes comparing ourselves to is in a different season of life. They have different responsibilities. They have different capacity. But when we look at our lives and we say, I want to create more of these results, our tendency is we look at people that have those results and we say, oh, I got to do exactly what they're doing. And we blow our capacity, which means we're overdrafting our emotional bank account. We're emotionally bankrupt. We're exhausted. We're tired. We're like, I'm trying to do all of the right things. And I'm journaling and I'm praying and I'm reading and I'm doing the cold plunge and I'm jogging, 10 miles every single day. And I'm doing, all the right things. And yet we don't feel different. And what I've found is that in most cases, it's not actually what do I need to add to my life. That's why it's not an addition problem. It's what do I need to take away that is causing noise. Elon Musk is great at this, is that if you look at him, he's all signal, no noise, right? Which is typical of genius, like hyper-focused. This is what I'm not saying that's necessarily healthy. Right. I'm not saying that's necessarily the best way to go about it, but what you can learn from it is if I am going to create more of the results, if I want more happiness, I want more intimacy with my wife, if I want to be more present with my kids, if I want a healthier body, then I need to focus more on what do I need to get out of the way and eliminate than what do I need to add. Because when you start to eliminate the noise and the distractions and the things that aren't useful or aligned with your values, you create margin. And from that margin, when you can be intentional, you start to realize, wow, I can actually create more results, better results from a place of rest, from a place of peace, from a place of, it's not that we talked about trying harder versus trying softer. It's not so much that you're not trying, it's that you're doing it from this place of peace, of rest, of alignment. And that's where I love the conversations. That's why I do a lot of the work that I do, is because so many high achievers, high performers, people that are a part of the determined society are like, I want to go after and achieve my potential. But we sacrifice so much unnecessarily because we don't know what matters most. We haven't defined an aim, and we end up sacrificing our soul on this proverbial altar of success. And we get there and we achieve it, and it's hollow. And we don't know why. It's because we have missed the fact that this is about alignment. This is about subtraction. This is about saying, how do I remove the things from my life that are not aligned with what I believe God is calling me to do and the person that I want to become?
Wow. So many different ways I can go from that, dude. I do want to start by saying, when you think about subtraction, it doesn't necessarily need, and this is important for the audience, right? Because for me, I subtracted something. Yes, I subtracted some people, right, that I needed to. But for the most part, it was an emotion that I subtracted. So, and you've helped me with this, and Matthew Hedden has been instrumental.
Love Matthew. Shout out to Matt.
Oh my God, Matty. We should have called him. We should FaceTime him later. Oh no, he doesn't have an iPhone. Loser.
What a dweeb.
I know, seriously. The guy's doing so well now. He's crushing online business. Like, buy a fucking iPhone, dude. What's your problem? I don't even know if we can be friends. Green bubble. But no, it's just kidding, buddy. We love you. But dude, like, there was this time, and we'll get into this, and I know you've got notes on this, but I was so stuck. Like, I couldn't figure out why I was unable to get in shape. Because I know what to do. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Like Matthew always says, it's simple, but it's not easy.
Simple, but not easy.
Simple, but not easy. It's like, eat better food, whole foods primarily, move your body. I'm sorry. Is there an easier recipe than that?
Right.
But it's so hard, right? And the problem is like, I just didn't think I was good enough to be there. There was a lot of shame. There was a lot of self-hatred. And every single time that I started on a 75 hard program or like a fasting thing or whatever the gimmick was for me to lose weight, it was all based on self-hatred. I hate the way I am right now, so I'm going to change this.
Yeah.
And it was in November of 24. And I've told this story, but I ran into my good buddy, Jeff Delaney, in a room here in Naples. And he owns a testosterone clinic and a weight loss clinic and multiple of them. And he's just an amazing guy. And I couldn't look him in the eye, dude. Like, I just couldn't. I'm like, I'm embarrassed right now.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, and I might have even have told you this, but it was hard for me to even get off the couch and be in public unless I was recording.
Yeah.
But then every time I would see a recording, I hated the way I looked. And it wasn't about vanity to me. There was something bothering me and I couldn't figure out what the hell it was. And so the moment I shifted to, I'm going after this.
Yeah.
I need to be the best I can be. I want to be alive longer. I want to be healthy for my children.
Yeah.
That is the thing. That's the thing that really pushed me at the beginning. But it's all coming back to me. So I'm having a hard time. It's so hard to articulate when you're in the emotion of it, because
what was the thing for you, Sean, that was in the way? What do you feel like was that variable, and that you were like, hey, this is the thing that has to be subtracted, eliminated. It's got to get out of the way so that I can move forward.
Self-hatred and shame, not liking the way I looked, and it completely torpedoed me emotionally.
Yeah.
So I decided to go all in, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Why? I'm curious. Why did you get to that? Or what led to the point where, like, dang it, I'm going all in?
I never really dug into a very, very deep level of the potential consequences. But what I will say is I was miserable. And the pain got so big and so great, and not just emotionally, but it started to turn into physical pain.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to do something. I've got 3 beautiful children. I got a beautiful wife. And I fear if I'm not around for them. My biggest fear isn't, and I've been seeing this trend lately, like this trend, my biggest fear isn't dying. My biggest fear is not being there for my children when they need me. So, and that could be physically, that could be emotionally.
Yeah.
And I saw myself as being very unpresent. I lacked presence, dude. And so I was like, okay, well, let me go do this.
Right.
And what started happening is my alarm clock used to say at 4 a.m., wake up, bitch. Change it to, I love you, Sean. And so the first thing that I saw every morning and still see every morning is that.
Yeah.
And so it put me in a space of being grateful for, waking up.
Yeah.
And I started executing and running the play, dude.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, week 1, down 8 pounds, week 2, down 8 pounds. Right. And then that started happening. And then all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, more people are starting to listen to the show now. My speech pattern changed. I drop an occasional F-bomb here and there because that's just who I am. But it used to be like every, thank you. So do you. Thank you. It's your fault. He made me. So he knew what he's getting into. But it used to be every other word.
Yeah.
And so what I realized is the quality of the show got better. My speech pattern got better. My clarity got way better.
Yeah.
Started to look better. And people started going, wait a second. What are you doing? I'm like, well, this is what I'm doing. I'm just, trying to be healthy.
Yeah.
And remember the time I was telling you, like, man, I can't get anybody to invest in my show.
Oh yeah.
Dude, we had 2 infusions last year. And we're vetting more. Because I was not outwardly living the brand. Here I was, I had a show called The Determined Society that talked about determination and discipline.
Yeah.
And I didn't look the part. Right. And so was I living determination and discipline within my show? Sure. People can't see that.
Yeah.
They can't see that. And so once I started displaying that, right. And people started going, oh, that's the guy.
Yeah.
The influence grew, my impact grew, and the show exploded. Right. And I look back on it and I'm still moving towards it.
Yeah.
I'm still lifting 6 days a week. I don't care. I'm going to lift 6 days a week. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I know what my nutrition plan is. I'm going to stick to it. Because my boy Jeff told me this is what you do.
Yeah.
And that's what he does for a living. Yeah. And it's become this thing for me that is, I don't know why I'm thinking of a Tesla pulling over on the side of the road and getting charged. It charges me. It is fulfilling for me to wake up every day and go do something that I may not want to do that day.
Yeah.
I may want the fries with the pizza and all the ice cream, but I choose to do that sparingly now because I have goals. So for me, long-winded rant there, but for me, it was removing the self-hatred, the shame, and looking at this as an opportunity to improve instead of punishing myself because of how I looked.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody is struggling with out there. They want to get in better shape because they hate the way they look.
Yeah.
It's never going to work. It's never going to work.
It's not. And you can overlay that in any sector of life. I hate where my marriage is. I hate my financial situation. I hate my job. I hate my boss. I hate my, whatever it is, fill in the blank. And the thing that I found is that hatred is always rooted in fear. Always. It is always rooted in fear. And fear is an illusion, right? Fear is always an illusion because we're telling ourselves a story about an outcome that isn't reality. That's where anxiety comes from, is that I'm telling myself a story like, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if this? And
I'm really good at that.
Right? Well, we all are. And it's a misuse of what I believe is this incredible gift that most of us abandoned when we were kids. And it's our imagination. No one taught us how to use our imagination. And when someone doesn't teach you how to use a tool, well, what do? Just like I've got, a 1-year-old, I've got a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And my 1-year-old right now, he doesn't know how to use most anything. So what does he do? When he sees daddy's hammer, he goes over and grabs it and starts running around amok.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa,
psychopath.
dude, you're
Yeah,
gonna
hey, bro.
you're gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Until we learn how to use a tool and use it well, it can actually be something that can cause a lot of damage. And I think that's how our imagination is that if we think about anxiety and fear and worry and doubt, those are all future-based things. I'm thinking about something that does not exist yet in this reality, in this moment, and I am attaching to an emotional state because of a perceived outcome. I'm saying, I'm worried this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So guess what? Now I'm worried.
Yeah.
Now I'm sitting here anxious because I'm worried about this thing. And it's all in our imagination, but we do the same thing in the past. That's where our shame and our guilt and our condemnation and the regret is, because we're going back into the past saying, I should have, if I only would have known, if I could have done this, so on and so forth. But what I have found is that if we look at any area of our life and say, I hate this, that sometimes is enough to get people to make the start, but it's not enough to sustain you and see you through to the end.
Sustainability is massive. And that's where the breakdown happens, right? Because, when I said, like, you cannot do better hating a certain situation.
Yeah.
Like, you can for a little bit, but to your point, the sustainability of it, like, you're going to burn out really quickly if you're leading with, I have to fix this because I can't stand it. Like, for me, it's more of, I got that figured out in my personal life, right? With my physical body and how I treat it.
Yeah.
What I'm still trying to do is migrate that over to here, right? And this conversation has helped me so much because, it made me realize, like, everybody wants to go another level, right? Everybody wants to do well. Everybody wants to grow to a certain point, but I've started despising where we're at. And I'm like, oh shit. When you said that, I'm like, no, it can't be there. Like, I've got to throw an amazing amount of gratitude and love to where we're at.
Yes.
Because if I look back a year ago.
Well, let's just go back a couple of years, Sean.
Oh, geez. Yeah. So guys, he's pulling out his lovely little remarkable pad. And I believe these notes were from actually 3 years ago, right? It was our first conversation we ever had. One of them.
How revealing do you want me to
Go ahead, man. I mean, listen, dude,
So this conversation, Sean, we talked about how in that season of life, you were under a lot of stress. There's a lot of financial stress. There was a lot of questions of the future of the podcast and direction. And, do I want to build courses and programs and coaches and do coaching, or do I want to just like have these interviews? Do I want to build big business? Do I want to, like, all the options, right? You're afraid of losing everything. That was the pervasive story. What if going after this dream makes me lose it all? What if I lose my wife and my kids and myself in the process? And it was a season where we talked through, we're dealing with some dark thoughts, which I've been there too. I've had those moments, those seasons. I don't know if I shared this story the last time, but there was a point in my life where I walked in the bathroom with a Glock in my hand and I said,
it was in your mouth. Yeah. You shared that.
I was done.
Yeah.
And so I know that we all have these seasons, these moments, but it was really interesting because we walked through a process together and I said, let's reframe this and look at the things that you do want. And then let's ask the question, why? Why do you want those, Sean? And so it was really interesting as we went through and this is just for everyone listening. I want you to know, like, we have ups and downs. We have these seasons, we have these moments, and you're never going to get to all 10s. Like, you're never going to get to all 10s.
No.
And so it's not about perfection. It's about saying, and this is what a lot of the people that I work with is the question of intentionality. Did you choose that intentionally or not? Was that a reaction? Was that something that you just did because of default, or did you choose that? If you chose the pizza, Fine. Cool. You chose it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you intentionally do this? And as we were going through some of it, you were talking about how controlling your thoughts was really challenging. Controlling your emotions was challenging. Your morning routine sucked. Your self-talk sucked.
Wow.
Fun was a 1 out of 10 is the rating that you gave yourself. I'm not having any fun right now in this season.
Wow.
Your joy was a 2. Your peace was a 1. And your relationship with God was a 1. And so we went through this, and basically you out of 100 points, your score was 38 out of 100.
I remember this now.
Okay.
Yes.
And immediately you went to shame and guilt and just like, oh, I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate this. Right. And then we reframed it. I said, all right, Sean, now I want you to stop. I want you to tell me about the man that you know you are.
Mm.
And this is the reframe for everyone listening. It's not about hating who you are. It's about looking at yourself with what I call fierce empathy, which we've talked about, and saying, how can I treat myself as someone that I'm responsible for? How would I treat another person who is dealing with these things? Would I beat the crap out of them and tell them all, or would I say, hey, let's walk through this? Yeah, there's some things that need to adjust. But the shame and the guilt and the regret, no, you just need to remember who you are. And that's what I think is the key here, Sean, is that these dreams and aspirations, these things that we have, I always ask people this question. I say, what if those were placed there by God as an invitation?
Mm.
What if the dreams and aspirations that he's given each of us as individuals, when you think about it, what if those are little seeds that, like a vision that God has planted and said, I want you to chase after this. But the key is, I want to do it with you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to walk with you, and I want to father you. I want to guide you. What if those things aren't intrinsically selfish? And we had that conversation. I was like, Sean, like, what here is selfish? He's like, this isn't about me, dude. I want to inspire and encourage and help people get out of their own way. And I want them to see what discipline can do. And I want them to have an incredible marriage and a great relationship with their kids. Like, all these things were not just this, I want to be awesome and amazing and have everybody look at me. And if you ask anybody that is halfway aware, you'll find that most of the dreams and aspirations that they have are not selfish. They're because they want to make the world a better place. They want to give and serve. And so I asked you, I said, Sean, tell me about that man. Tell me about that man that you see in your mind, the one that you know you really are, the one that you want to be. And you said, he's smiling. He's glowing. He's on stages. He's wearing all black with red accents. Shout out to the red accents, Nike sponsorship. Come on.
Come on, guys.
You said, I want a tight fitting shirt where I look chiseled. Check out them veins. Show off the veins for a second. You said, I want it to be a big room where I'm able to inspire and encourage. I want to feel peace, gratitude. I want my faith to grow. I want to be a man of discipline. I want to be happy. I want to be excited to be alive. And then we walked through. I had you visualize. I said, Sean, that man, I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. And I want you to tell me, when does he wake up? And from the moment he wakes up, walk me through his day. Walk me through his day. What is he doing? And what does his life look like? Well, you threw some stuff at me around protein shakes, wild blueberries. One of the first things that I think that you said when the lights come on, the very first thing that I'm going to say is, I'm going to say, I love you. You changed that on your phone, Sean, after this conversation. I have it written right here.
2 years ago after that conversation, I changed that.
You said, I want to say, I love you. It's time to pour into you, to be happy with who you are. Pre-workout, get to the gym, treadmill, workout, sauna, all that. These are things that are a part of your life now, right? And it was really interesting. You said, when I leave for the gym, I want to get in a TRX. And for anyone that's not aware, Sean has a beautiful TRX that he now drives that was not in the picture at this time.
Right.
Because you were like, dude, there's no way. There's just no way. You said, I want this podcast to be hitting streaming platforms. I want a Mac Daddy studio. I'm sorry. Come on. Right? Now there's still levels, right?
Sure,
we know
of
this. But you said, I want to be working with a PR team, which didn't exist. You're like, I don't even know what that looks like. How I'm going to make that happen. I want to have premieres and grand openings. I want to know who's on deck. I want to be able to live in Naples, have a forever home, right? you were sharing all these different things that were desires that you said, that's the man that I know that I can be. That's the man that I want to be. And I want everyone listening right now to understand something. When we were going through this exercise, this was not your reality. This was the reality of the man in your mind, and you said, that's his life. That's his reality. I want that. And what you did is you put in the work required to create that. And somebody said it outside. That's manifestation, right? Manifestation is not some crazy woo-woo stuff. What it looks like is the creative process that says, I'm going to define a name. This is who I want to be. This is how I want to live. And you project into the future and say, how does he or she show up? When do they get out of bed in the morning? Because right now I'm getting out at like 6:30, maybe, snoozing. Yeah. No. I'm getting up at this time. This is what my morning routine looks like. This is what my day looks like. And you start to actively create every single day. And the more and more that you do that, you manifest and create a new reality. But I think the foundation of all of this, Sean, is a conversation we were having earlier, is that the reason most of us don't actually create the results and step into it, and you're living it right now. But what's crazy is that there's still that kind of dissatisfaction. Yeah, but there's another level. There's another level.
Up. Yeah, I was like, hey, come on.
And I was driving this morning on the way here. I shared this with you earlier, and I'm most mornings, one of the questions that I ask is, God, is there anything specific that you're wanting to show me today? Is there anything you want to tell me today? And I'm driving and I'm just listening, and all of a sudden it hits me. And I realize I'm driving down this interstate, and there's, traffic in Florida.
Oh yeah, dude. Right? 75, bro. Beautiful.
And I'm driving, and there's all these different vehicles, and different people are going different speeds, and I hit stop and go, so on and so forth. And I felt like God just dropped this in my spirit that I thought was for me, but maybe it's, hopefully this will be useful for those listening, is that he said, I've been teaching you about potential versus capacity for a while. And if you look at these vehicles, this is a lot like life. You have a specific destination that you're headed towards, but so does everyone else. You're all moving in the same direction, but some people are going faster than you. Some people are going slower than you. But every one of them have a different destination. You're not all going to the same place. And what we do is we look at our aim in life, or the place that we want to get to, and we think, okay, it's 100 miles down the road. Well, 100 miles down the road might have some twists and turns and bends. You might have some things, accidents that happen on the side of the road. A deer jumps out, alligator, whatever. We're in South Florida, iguana probably, right? Or a gator, right? And if you're not careful, you can misunderstand that that's what's possible. That's the potential that you have. But if we don't steward our capacity well, meaning that if I just pedal to the metal 120 miles an hour, guess what? I'm going to run out of gas. Versus if I put it on cruise, right? And I'm focused, I'm intentional, and I'm driving my lane, and I'm focused on my lane, I'm going to get there. I don't necessarily know how long it's going to take or when I'm going to arrive. But the mistake we make, Sean, is that we start looking over at the other people, and we start, wait, they're going faster than me. They're going faster than me. Yeah. Why is this guy going so slow, right? And we get into this comparative and competition when we don't even realize, like, they're not even going to the same place. Wow. They're not going to the same, we're headed in the same direction, and all of us in life are moving forward, but we judge and we criticize, and a lot of times it's for ourselves. And I'm trying to process all this as I'm driving. And that's usually how God speaks to me. He gives me this download. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. What are you trying? And he reminded me of something that he shared with me a couple of years ago that you and I talked about a few months ago. An acorn and an oak tree have the same potential. They do not have the same capacity.
Yep.
And the mistake that we make is that we look at our potential, we look at the vision, we look at the things that we want to accomplish and achieve, and we can see it, but we're not necessarily ready for it because we don't understand our current capacity. If I take the same amount of water and sunlight and nutrients that's required for an oak tree to grow and thrive, and I give that to an acorn, I'll kill it. If I take the same amount of water and the soil and the nutrients that are needed for an acorn to grow and thrive, and I give that to an oak tree, I'll kill it. because their capacities are different, but their potential is the same. And what we do is as the acorns in our life, we look at our marriage, we look at our finances, we look at our business, and we're like, well, it's growing, but I really want to grow. I really want to grow. Well, fascinating thing about trees is if you try and force a tree to grow and you give it too much water, what happens to the fruit, Sean? It comes out twisted, perverted. It comes out wrong. It doesn't actually create healthy, good fruit. And so especially for men, we have a lot of guys that are like, I want to bring shade and protection. I want to give fruit. I want to be able to take care of all of these people that are in my life. But they don't realize that that's their potential, but they only have a root system that's 2 inches deep. They have not taken the time to grow down those roots through the difficulties and challenges of navigating life and being willing to say, I'm going to grow my capacity deep in understanding emotional regulation, disciplining myself, showing up and being present, being kind to myself, learning how to manage my time well, learning how to communicate, developing my skills and digging my roots down deep so I can grow up. Instead, what we do is like, I got to get there. And any plant, which as human beings, we're just complicated plants, right? Food, water, sunlight. That's what we need. We have emotions. We're trying so desperately hard to get there that we don't even realize that oftentimes when we get there, the fruit of our lives and the things that we're wanting to create, they don't come out the way that God intended.
Dude, it's so crazy because, dude, I cannot tell you how timely this is, because we sit there like, we need to be doing this. We need to go to the World Cup. We need to be there on site. We need to interview all these players. We need to be at Tortuga. We need to do this. We need to be at opening day versus the Giants and the Yankees in San Francisco. We need to do all these different things. And while our potential is there, we don't have the capacity yet. And, I've been having these conversations with Pat, one of my best friends, and he's one of my partners. And I was like, hey, we're going to do all these things, but maybe it's just not time. Because, and I love the dreaming, me, dude, I'm a visionary. I love when people say like, hey bro, let's go do this. I'm like, yes, all the yeses, let's do it. But as I'm listening to you and you're talking about, I just want to grow, and you're flexing and you're straining. I feel like that's where we're at now, and again, like, I don't ever hold anything back. That's where I'm different. I don't see this as anything other than just the opportunity to be honest with people, and hopefully it makes an impact. Right. But like where we're at right now is I'm straining to get to that next level when it's just like, why don't I just let the roots grow?
Here's a great example. I don't mean to interrupt, but I think this will be really useful for people to understand this. Do you do bench press when you go to the gym?
Yeah. Dumbbell. I do dumbbell press.
Okay. Dumbbell press. All right. You and I both know that, and you mind me asking, like, what's your typical press?
I mean, if I'm doing sets of 10, which, is typically that'll, 75, 80s.
Okay.
I work out by myself, so I don't.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got 75, something like that, right? You're pushing. Okay. So here's the mistake that we make. We go into the gym and we see all the potential in the world. Like, dude, there's 150 pounds over here, and there's this, that, there's all this stuff, right? And we see people walking around, and I'm sure they have them at your gym, right? Like, dude, that guy's yoked, he's jacked, right? And what we do is that we lay down on the bench and we're like, hey, I know my capacity is I can, I'm going to be doing, 10 reps, 75 pounds, and I can do 3 sets. And that's where I'm at. But I want to push myself a little bit. I'm maybe going to bump up to 80 because I want to grow, right? What we do is we walk in there and we look at the 150 pounds and say, why can't I do it? Why can't I do that?
Yeah.
And so we end up trying to take on all of this stuff that is a potential for us in time. We're not ready for it yet.
No, you'll hurt yourself.
You'll hurt yourself. No. That's what we do is we take on all this pressure and this weight because we're like, I know that I can do it. Yeah, you can do it, but maybe not right now.
Yeah.
Maybe your capacity is 75, 80, and you say, okay, well then I'm going to commit to a plan to have progressive overload. But you and I both know this. You can't have progressive overload all the time. If you push a PR and you're going for it, you need a rest.
Yeah.
You got to take a couple of days for your body to recuperate. And it's the same thing with our mind, with our business, with our finances, is that a hard driving go, 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 go all the time will overwhelm you. But if you can recognize your capacity, like for me, my capacity in this season, I have 4 young kids, and I have committed, one of my things that I've committed to my wife and as a part of our thing is, unless I'm traveling, it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner with my kids and with my wife, right?
Yeah.
I know that there's opportunity cost to that because I know I could have that time and I could be building business and doing all these other types of things. But I've made the decision of saying, this is my capacity in life right now, and those things are going to have to wait. It doesn't mean I'm not going to still pursue them and lean into them, but I'm not going to overwhelm myself, because the capacity that each of us have is different. Your capacity is different than mine, different than Dan's capacity, is different than every person. But we fail to stop and pause and say, is this actually something that I have the bandwidth to do? And if not, how do I increase my capacity? And increasing capacity is where I think we should focus more of our time and attention, just like you increase your capacity at the gym every time you go and you push yourself. But it doesn't mean that you throw a pity party or you get mad at God or say that life's unfair because you can't bench 150s.
Yeah, it's so funny because like I'm wired so different there with the amount of weight. Give two craps. You know, I for me, I always want to lift heavier because I know if I lift heavier, then I'm breaking the muscle down more and I'm growing. For me, you know, the amount of weight in the gym is never an ego play.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's funny because I'll get, I'm at a point right now where I'm getting frustrated because I'm, you know, I don't know, I'd say the last 3 weeks, I haven't felt myself getting stronger. And, you know, I'll feel like, you know, the tired in the shoulder, like set to, I'm like, okay, my body's telling me something.
Yeah.
Probably need a deload week. Right.
Yeah.
But, and I got to research it. I don't even know how to do one of those. Like I know people talk about it. I know it's supposed to be beneficial, but like
target 60, 70% of your typical, that's a deload.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not complicated.
Wow. I can do that.
Yeah. I had a deload week 2 weeks ago. And it's built into my app, and I was like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And it was a deload week, and it's about 60% roughly of what you typically do. Okay. Where you almost feel like, dude, this is cake. It's easy. Yeah. I could do like, 8 more reps, but you're just working.
How often do you do a deload week?
I mean, this is the first one that I've done in probably 2 or 3 months. Yeah. So it's not very often.
Yeah. So I've never done one.
Really?
So I'm going to, next week I'll do a deload week. Okay.
But see, we also say like, yeah, but I'm taking it easy, man. Well, guess what? Your body,
sometimes you have to.
You need that.
But see, that's the thing too, because like that right there, like we all go through that.
Yeah.
Like, no. If I'm taking it easy, then I'm not progressing. But sometimes you have to slow down to speed up.
You do.
And I think that's one of the narratives on social media that people are really getting fed and they struggle with, right? Because you have these amazing individuals like a Goggins. I mean, I don't know if he's an amazing individual. I've never met him.
Right.
But people perceive him as an amazing individual because of what he's done.
Yeah.
All he's doing is being himself and literally documenting what works for him.
Yep.
Don't go try to do what he does.
No.
Like that's ridiculous. But then you have like, Andy Frisella, who's built an amazing brand.
Yeah.
And so when those types of guys that have that much influence, that have done so much, go out there and they tell everybody, you need to work out twice a day. You need to never have a cheat meal. You need to never eat ice cream. You need to never drink alcohol. You have to do this and you have to do that. Well, then people believe like that's the way I'm supposed to live.
Yeah.
24/7, 365. And I don't know. And it could be that way for Andy. Like, sure. But it doesn't mean that it's not like we used to me and Dan used to make fun of corporate every year. Like when we get our new quotas, they just peanut butter it, like spread it out over the whole district. It's like, well, I'm in Cape Coral. What is this? Like you can't take what somebody else does and do it for you. Because again, different capacity.
Yeah.
A lot of different things. But the thing that I'm really passionate about now is watching. And when I see something on, the social media apps, like you need to be up at 2 a.m. or you're a bitch. Like, bro, you're just trying to get
Yeah.
comments. You're just trying to get people to come in and follow you, and you're going to lead people down.
Oftentimes, I mean, it's
bad
a superiority complex too, is because people make themselves feel better by being able to create this facade or scenarios that I'm up here and you're down here. And so if you're not willing to do this, then I'm better than you. And I've got, I'll be careful about name dropping, but there's so many individuals on social media today that are in your face, you're trash, you're not doing so on and so forth. And people eat it up, but they don't realize that most of the motivation behind those individuals doing that is because they're so wounded and there's so much pain that the only way they can feel like they're anything is by pushing other people down.
I'm thinking of one name now that did it so much, and I don't see his stuff anymore. So I'm pretty grateful.
I think we're probably on the same page.
I mean, double initials, maybe towards the W letter of the alphabet. But dude, and you look at the amount of trauma though, right?
Yeah.
And you look at all that. But like for me, I started to understand, and I was talking to somebody the other day, dude, and they go, man, I got to get my shit together. Like, what's up? I'm like, well, I mean, you're in the gym at, what time you get in the gym, Sean? I'm like 5. That's when it opens. And there's some days that I go later, but like, dude, if I don't have recordings one day, I'm sleeping until 6 because it's already baked in.
Right.
It's not a retreat. Right. If this, then what? I learned that from Matt. If this, then what?
Yeah.
If I have recordings at any point in the day, I'm up at 4. I go downstairs and have my protein shake. Then I go to the gym. I don't do the pre-workout anymore.
Gotcha.
Don't need it. And if it's not a recording day, I'm up at 6. I go downstairs and I make the kids whatever I need, their breakfast and put their snacks in their deal. And I, eat my breakfast at the counter with them while they're sitting on the, the island, and we talk.
Yeah.
So someone said, I'm like, well, why are you beating yourself up? What do you mean you get your stuff together? You look great. I know, but I'm waking up at 6 and, I'm in here by 6:30. I'm like, okay, what's your point?
Yeah.
How's your career going?
Yeah.
Great. We're doing good. I'm making money. How's your marriage? Happy. How are your kids? Fantastic. What's wrong? Well, I'm seeing all over the place that people are waking up at 4 and listen, for everybody still tuned in to this incredible conversation, it does not matter if someone else wakes up at 2 or you wake up at 6 or even 7 a.m.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, if you have a goal and there's certain things that you want to do as a standard for you every day and you're completing them, and you're not taking time away from your family. See, what most people don't know is the reason why I wake up at 4 a.m. and go to the gym by 5 is because I don't want to take time away from my children and my wife at night.
Yeah.
So I sacrifice.
There's opportunity
that's
cost.
That's the only reason. I don't think it's cool.
It's not fun.
It sucks. It sucks.
But just like we were talking about with the cars, is that guy, he's looking over at somebody who's driving a different vehicle, going a different speed, being like, yeah, but look at them. But look at them.
Yeah.
And that's where, especially with a lot of the clients that I work with, they think that I'm going to give them advice. My job's not to give advice. My job is to hold a mirror and ask the tough questions and to say, is this aligned with who you want to be? Yes or no? And then we need to create, you mentioned the word standards. I would hope that anyone listening today, like, please understand the importance of a standard is you're saying, this is my minimum threshold, non-negotiable. I learned that in woodworking. If you want to cut 100 pieces the same length and you start with one and you cut it 12 inches and then you cut the next one, if you keep using each of the consecutive boards to measure the next one, by the time you get to the 100th board, you're not going to have a 12-inch board. It's going to probably be about 10 inches. Because there's this progressive or regressive decline. Instead of using the first board that you cut as the measurement for every other piece, you create a standard that is your non-negotiable that says, this is who I am, so this is what I do. And then you introduce a degree of accountability. You and I both know the value in having coaches and mentors and people in our lives that will call us up to that higher standard of saying, hey, you said that this was a non-negotiable, but you seem to be negotiating it. You keep snoozing. You haven't dated your wife in 2 months. You haven't, done the work in order to create the results. So either stop lying to yourself and to me, or take ownership of the standard. And I think what I have found is that the more that you adopt standards and you let go of so many of these arbitrary outcomes, the BHAGs, the big, hairy, audacious goals. I'm not saying those are bad, but I think that those are very dangerous, because when we say I'm setting this goal, we create this gap and this distance in our mind and say, well, until I can get there, I'm not going to feel okay. I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be satisfied. And if you change that and say, yeah, I'd like to get there, and we're going to get there. I don't know when, I don't necessarily know how, but what I do know is that if I follow these daily standards and I keep showing up consistently every single day, I'm going to get there.
That's a great point, because it's like the thing that I want to clarify for the audience is like, when you're saying like, it's my standard, it's what I do because I said I would, and the thing that I think people really struggle with is it's all fine and dandy when they're in a good mental space,
right?
when they're not tired.
Yeah.
But the moment they had a fight with their spouse the night before, and they're completely destroyed and depleted and angry and upset, maybe remorseful, maybe regret what happened.
Yeah.
Until you feel those feelings and still go do what you're supposed to do, that is a man or a woman living in a standard. It's what I do.
Yeah.
And for me, what I've been able to figure out is, doesn't matter how I feel.
Yeah.
Is it a lift day? Okay. Well, what's my split? What is it today? Oh, it's legs. I don't want to do legs. Tough shit. You cannot lie to yourself. See, a lot of people think it's about the achievement aspect of it. It's never about that.
Yeah.
For a person who's looking to do more and be more for his family and his friends and everybody around them, they have to understand one thing. It is not about the achievement. It's about being a man that is so loyal to his word.
Yeah.
Like, for me, that is everything.
It's integrity.
If I said I got to do it, I'm going to do it. But you know what happens in the process? You become unbreakable. You, and again, I'm not saying that you are, literally unbreakable, but like you understand where you're at, you understand your value, and you understand where you're going, and you want to build confidence. It's not in the short shorts. It's not in the tank tops. Okay. It's not in the yoga pants.
No.
It's following through with what you say to yourself in silence that nobody freaking hears.
It's keeping your word to yourself. That's it.
That's the secret.
Yep.
It's keeping your word.
And it's not about, like you said, I think the mistake people make is that it's not about the achievement or becoming more powerful. It's about you cultivating and creating the stability that will enable you to weather the storms that life is going to throw. It's not, I'm trying to be this big, incredible, achieve all these things. It's saying, no, I know that there's going to be heavier responsibility. There's going to be more weight. There's going to be more challenge. There's going to be more difficulty. So I'm strengthening myself so I can be stable in and through that. And I think what you saw and experienced over these past few years, Sean, it's biblical. It says, he who is faithful to little things will be entrusted with more, will be entrusted with much. And I think that we forget that, is that I don't care if you have $1 million in the bank if your marriage is falling apart because you're not showing up.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if you have the body of a Greek god, if you treat your employees like crap, right? I don't care about these things because we've got a skewed value system, especially in the American West, that we attach so much value to shiny stuff that we forget.
Well, it's a mask.
It's a mask.
Yeah.
We forget that the people that we love and respect the most are people kind of like our grandmothers. They say, I really don't care how you feel right now, kiddo. Stop doing that. Why are you doing that? We'll tell you how it is. And those are the people that we love, we admire, and we respect. But I'm discovering in my own life, Sean, because I last year was a brutal year, a lot of difficulty. I'm discovering that the more that I create voluntary accountability in my life by saying, hey, I'm letting you know I'm going to commit to this and I'm determined to do this. When I put my integrity on the line when it comes to another person, and science has shown this, you're like 80 to 90% more likely to actually do it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Versus trying to do it for yourself and lying to yourself and getting in your own way. But that integrity piece you were just talking about, we tend to have integrity outwardly with other people. But if we don't cultivate that inwardly with ourselves and keeping our word to ourselves, I've been identifying over the last year different areas where I've not been faithful with the little things. So why would I believe that God's going to entrust me with more? If I can't be faithful to steward what he's already given me and to control what I can control, I can't expect to be entrusted with more. And you've seen and experienced over the last 3 years, you started controlling what you could control. And look at what's happened.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's all about building that trust with yourself.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than not being able to trust yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the thing. Like if you can't trust yourself, how could you demand trust from somebody else? Right. So, I mean, dude, this has been amazing. I mean, look, bro, like the value of you as a friend and the opportunity to sit down with you again and do this all over again. Like, I mean, it was better than the first one. And the first one I thought, I was like, dude, does it get any better than that? Like, you know, what I keep finding is that, and tell Dan this all the time, and then even Ryan there, is like, I think that was your best show. It happens so frequently now because we're in this flow state of not worrying about all this stuff over here, but like worried about this.
Yeah.
And that's never been our problem. But dude, I just appreciate you, man. And you know, I wish you lived closer, but you've been instrumental in my life. And I hope that the dudes and the gals listening go find their people to where they can be open and do those exercises that we did 3 years. Honestly, bro, I forgot we did that. That was 3 years ago. And so when you cast a vision for your life, and this is what I want people to really grab onto, when you have those moments, whether it's with a spouse or a friend, like this is the man or this is the woman I see myself as. No one understands what's actually happening in that moment.
Yeah.
All right. Because if you see it and you can feel it, then you will achieve it, but you got to work too. Right.
Yeah.
And you got to get out of your own way, and you got to do it when you're tired. You got to do it when you're sad. You got to do it when you're depressed one day.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing is like, it becomes the fabric of who you are and what you want to do. And then all of a sudden you just, it's there.
Right.
Like that was, dude, what you did for me today, like straight up, like when you read that to me out there and then went in more detail here, I felt this massive weight lifted off of my chest, because it's like, until someone points out the evidence, like, bro, you said this 3 years ago, bro. This has all happened. Like, oh, so everything that I'm manifesting now, visualizing now, oh, that's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Let it.
Yeah.
Let it. Work for it, but don't stress over it. So, dude, thank you so much for that.
Well, Sean, it's an honor as always, man. And I hope you and everyone listening, and myself, that we remember that go after success, but recognize that every single person defines that differently. If you don't take the time to define your values, what matters to you, what's important to you, and create that aim like we've talked about. I want everyone to hear me when I say this. It's great to have an aim in life. You have to have an aim in life. But recognize that that's just part of the potential you have that you need to lean into and to live out of. But if you're not aware of your capacity and the season that you're at in life, you will constantly feel behind. You'll constantly feel like I'm not good enough. You'll constantly feel like, and the Olympics are a great example, is that when you listen to the best of the best of the best, and I know you've had this conversation with athletes, is that there's a time for watching tape. There's a time for studying competition. There's a time to put in the work and practice. But when the lights come on and the game is on, you have to let go and just say, I am just going to focus on what I can control in this moment, which most importantly is my mind.
Mm-hmm.
If I can control my mind and I can focus on the controllables and the fundamentals, and I can just step into existing in this moment and be fully present. I'm not worried about the game tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about the ESPYs. I'm not worried about the Super Bowl. I'm not worried about this. I'm not worried about these. I'm just in this moment, and I'm going to just step into flow state and execute and be present. You find you don't really have time for anxiety anymore.
Mm-mm.
You don't really have time for shame anymore. It's like, I'm living here in this moment. And that, I believe, is what catalyzes us to the next level, because again, dream and dream big, but don't get so fixated on that you forget that right now is where you're planted and you have the potential to become the oak tree. It's real. It's going to happen, but it's going to take time and seasons and growth. And the most effective way for us to become everything that God created us to be is to be faithful to steward what he's given us today. That's it,
man. It's beautiful. One more thing before we wrap up. Do you remember The Last Dance? The whole Chicago Bulls thing. Did you ever watch that?
I don't think I did.
I
need to. Apparently.
Yeah, you need to watch it, man. They chronicled, the last championship.
Okay.
How they were, openly going to rebuild and disassemble. This was the last year. It's like, Phil Jackson, this is your last year. And so go watch it.
Okay.
But there was a moment where Michael Jordan was walking down the hallway, right? If you've seen it, right, Dan? So you probably already know where I'm going with this. He's walking down and the reporters are all in his face. He's like, I love you guys, but can I just be present?
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant talked about presence all the time. There's something real about that.
Yeah.
The ability to be truly present means being grateful for the now.
Yeah.
And I've done so terrible at that lately. And so thank you for reminding me about that. But dude, thank you again, man. Thank you so much. Let's go eat. What do you want? Let's go eat, man. I'm starving. So guys, listen, thank you so much for tuning in. I know this episode was a lot longer than it usually is, but that's good because it's my guy. And when you have such a great conversation and value to give, like David does, you know what? Like, I could literally probably talk to him for another 3 hours. So you're lucky it's not a 4-hour episode. But please share this episode with somebody you know, love, and trust. And again, and talk through it with them. If you're a dude out there and you're struggling and you feel like you're down in the freaking dirt and you're in the pit, well, one of your boys is right there with you. And you need to grab him and you need to have these hard conversations together. What do you want? What's the type of man you want to be? And where do you see yourself in 2 to 3 years? And you guys need to work with each other, because if you don't, you won't truly understand each other. But most importantly, you will never understand yourself, and you will never get to where your capacity is large enough to reach that potential. So again, guys, thank you so much for listening. And until next time, stay determined.